The Great Diesel Drought of Exit 42. Chapter 1. Early Morning Chatter. The sun was just breaking over the horizon as I fired up my rig. The engine roared to life, filling the cab with the familiar hum that I'd grown to love. I gave the old girl, Big Deborah, a quick pat on the dashboard. She was a beauty, 18 speeds of raw power, purring like a kitten, though she could get a little temperamental when the wind picked up or when she hit the truck stops in the dead of night. I had a load of organic dairy-free processed cheese. Don't ask. It was a weird order to deliver from Madison, Wisconsin, all the way down to Austin, Texas. My job? Simple. Drive it, deliver it, keep my eye on the road, and keep my hands away from the greasy truck stop hot dogs. Just as I shifted into second, my CB crackled to life. Breaker 19. Big rig, you out there? It was Flatbed Fred. Fred's been driving for 25 years. He's the kind of guy who could tell you everything about anything, from engine specs to how many times a guy can go to the bathroom before it becomes a concern. But lately, Fred had been on edge. We all had. Yeah, Fred, I'm out here, what's the deal? You hearing this diesel shortage thing? My hand instinctively grabbed the gear shift, a little worried. Diesel shortage? Was this a joke, or was I going to be facing some real trouble? What's that now? I asked, hoping it was just some wild rumor. You saying the pumps are dry? Hell yeah. I just came through Wisconsin and they're out. Out. Empty. Nowhere to fuel up. And they're saying it's going to hit nationwide. Could be a couple weeks before things get back to normal. Fred's voice cracked, the panic almost tangible through the static. I looked down at my fuel gauge, a half tank. I wasn't in panic mode yet, but Fred wasn't exactly known for spreading rumors. I pulled off at a truck stop a few miles down the road and headed inside to grab some coffee. No harm in checking things out. The place was packed. Truckers everywhere, some sitting in booths, others hunched over the counter, discussing what was rapidly becoming the new hot topic, the diesel crisis. Hey, you guys heard about the diesel shortage? I asked the nearest guy, who looked like he hadn't showered in a week. He looked up from his eggs, and, yeah man, whole country's a mess right now. Washington is saying it's because of supply chain problems, international logistics, and some crap with the oil market, he said, like he had an inside track on the government's plans. I frowned. Supply chain problems? We'd heard that excuse a dozen times before, but something felt off this time. Truckers were starting to get nervous. And when truckers get nervous, that's when you know it's time to pay attention. Chapter 2. Rumors and Realities. I headed back to Big Deborah, the weight of the situation settling in. Diesel was running low at a lot of stations, and word was spreading faster than a wildfire in California. Across the parking lot, I could see other drivers gathered around their rigs, some already trying to come up with alternate plans. That's when Tanya pulled up, her rig, sleek and shiny, with a fresh coat of paint that probably cost more than my first car. Hey Big Rig, you hear the latest? Tanya asked, hopping down from her truck. Yeah, I heard, I said, tightening my grip on the steering wheel. Diesel's about to become the new gold, huh? I don't know about that, but people are worried. You see the news? They're saying the supply chain's broken for real. Production's down, refineries are running low, and hell, even Mexico's got issues, Tanya explained. That hit me like a ton of bricks. A couple of weeks? No way we can last that long without diesel, I muttered, eyeing the truck stop's pumps, all of them now marked with little yellow cones, a clear sign they were out of service. Tanya nodded, but she didn't seem worried. That's when she dropped the bombshell. You know what they're saying? It's not just the supply chain. The government's trying to force a green energy transition, she said, looking around to make sure no one was eavesdropping. They've been pushing for cleaner energy for years, and now they've got an excuse. Diesel's gonna become scarce, they say, to make people switch to electric or hydrogen. The Green New Deal stuff. Some are even saying it's a plot to force us off the roads. I blinked. Green energy was all fine and dandy, but I wasn't about to leave my rig behind for a little electric truck that couldn't haul half the load I carried. That's a bit much, don't you think? I said, raising an eyebrow. I'm just saying. Keep your eyes open. The government doesn't do anything without some strings attached. I looked at the pumps again. Empty. Like they were mocking me. Chapter 3. The Call for Action. By the time I left that truck stop, I knew I had to do something. The whole country was on edge, and if something didn't give soon, we'd be stuck. And it wouldn't just be the truckers. The whole damn supply chain would collapse. No food, no fuel, no way to get the goods from point A to point B. And who was that going to hurt the most? Regular folks like you and me. People who depend on the road to survive. I pulled into a rest stop a little further down the road. It was quiet, almost too quiet. Then, I saw him. Big Bogdan, the big, burly guy from Michigan who was as good-natured as he was loud. "Vernon," he called out, waving from his rig. "You heard the news, man?" "Heard it and don't like it," I said. "Pumps are drying up everywhere. There's no way we're going to make it through this without some serious backup." Bogdan scratched his beard thoughtfully. "What if we do something about it? A convoy, maybe? We could roll straight to Washington, make him listen," he suggested. "A convoy," I repeated, intrigued. "You're serious?" "Hell yeah. We put the word out, get 1,000 trucks together, and we make a statement. Truckers are the backbone of this country. If we stop, everything stops." I paused, considering it. The idea was bold, maybe even a little crazy, but it was the kind of crazy that could work. You see, the problem with truckers is that we know we're essential. And when you push us too far, we don't just sit idly by and wait for someone to solve our problems. You know what, Bogdan? Let's do it. We'll get the word out. If Washington wants to play games with our livelihoods, then maybe it's time they get a taste of what happens when we stop moving. Chapter 4. The People's Convoy. And just like that, the plan was in motion. We put the call out over the CB, on social media, at every truck stop we could find. The People's Convoy was born. It started small, a few rigs trickling in here and there. But by the time we hit the road, we had a line of trucks that stretched all the way from Illinois to Ohio. Horns blared, flags waved, and signs read, "Don't tread on diesel," and "Truckers are America's backbone." We were on a mission, not just for us, but for the entire nation. If the government wanted us to go green, then they could damn well show us how to keep the country moving without our fuel. As we rolled into Washington, we were met with the sight of a whole lot of confused faces. But that's what happens when 1,000 trucks roll through your front door. We took up every lane, blocking off traffic, sending a clear message. Without us, the world slows to a crawl. Chapter 5. Bureaucratic Battles. The officials came out, looking flustered and a little panicked. A suited bureaucrat stepped forward, trying to look all official and calm, but even he couldn't mask the sweat on his brow. "We understand your frustration," he began, but I wasn't interested in politeness. I wanted answers. Frustration? Frustration doesn't cut it. We've got a fuel shortage and the government is doing what? Planning to get us off the road with electric trucks that can't even haul a load of grain. I said, stepping forward. He cleared his throat, eyes darting nervously. "We're aware of the issue, and we're working on it," he said, his voice trying to sound reassuring, but failing miserably. "You've been working on it for years. Now we're running out of fuel, and the people who put food on your table are the ones paying the price." I shot back. The tension in the air was thick. But after a few hours of negotiations, they promised to look into speeding up fuel deliveries and reconsidering their plans for the green energy push. A few other concessions were made, but none of us left thinking it was enough. Chapter 6. The Road Ahead. The convoy slowly made its way back across the country. Some of us were happy with the progress made, but the truth was, we all knew this was just the beginning. The real fight was just starting. The fuel crisis wasn't going to go away overnight, and neither were we. As I rolled into the sunset, I couldn't help but think, truckers don't just drive for a living. We drive for the country. And when the road gets rough, we don't back down. We keep on rolling. Big Earl and the autonomous armadillo. Big Earl had been on the road longer than most folks had been alive. In fact, There were